How happy are you? What do you do in the morning to really spark your day and get things going? Here's an amazing practice you can try. You can get up before the sun rises and go outside into nature while it's still dark and before everything begins to awaken. And in that silent field, you can tune in and connect with all the elements. The first being space. In the dark, you can connect with that mystic element of space. And then tune in and look for the air. Can you feel it? Can you taste it? What does it sound like? Listening to it move on all of the objects of trees, of plants, and insects beginning to awaken. As the birds start to sing, they're moving the air with their sound. And then look for fire as the sun begins to rise in the sky and the colors start to awaken and come into your view. And then the water. Can you hear any water moving? Perhaps you're near a creek and you can hear the water moving across the pebbles. And then notice the earth under your feet. Feel the steadiness. Tuning into nature like this is a great way to understand who you are and why you're here. This brings you into a steady, grounded place with happiness. Happiness is a state of being. It's not a destination you have to arrive at. There's a great story I like that reminds me of this. There was a top executive, high earner, who was on vacation somewhere in the Caribbean, and he was hanging out on a beach, and a little cabana boy, around 11 years old, was dutifully bringing him drinks. And after about the third round, and the executive was starting to relax and tune into where he was, a little bit induced by his rum drinks, he asked the cabana boy, "Do you go to school?" And the boy said, "No." And he asked, "Why not?" And the boy said, "Why should I?" And he said, "Well, if you go to school, you could get a job, and then you could earn money, and then you could go on vacation. And then you could be happy." And the cabana boy, twirling his toes in the sand and looking up at the clouds in the sky, taking in the blue and the fluffy white, turned and smiled and said, "I'm already happy." You see, most people are striving for external things to make them happy. But after a short time, those fleeting moments disappear. Happiness comes from within. I love the Dalai Lama teaching that happiness comes when we're happy for another's happiness.